they leave Portugal empty-handed after their worst ever day. But put the record book partly straight in Germany. These aquanautics and subsequent failure to finish either Grand Prix has blown this title dream well off course. While someone celebrates back-to-back wins in the wake of snatching last year's world crown. Could round 3 be crunch time in this year's World Powerboat Championship? Plymouth, England, awaits.
Set on the southerly shores of glorious Devon, Plymouth has witnessed many a bloody battle before, and still holds a crucial role in the formation of the country's defence. Although these days much of the naval hardware has been replaced by commercial development and lots of visitors keen to experience a slice of maritime history. A natural amphitheatre for any waterborne activity, the famous Hoe lends itself to big boats and copious hospitality areas, as well as the big screens that transmit the drama from out at sea. Plenty of stunning action lies ahead, but first a visit from the city's mayor.
Good evening, pleased to see you. Thank you. Sorry we're a little bit late.
And after a quick look around, an official welcome.
So here we are in year 3, and I am absolutely delighted to be here.
The hospitality and VIP treatment at Plymouth on a par with anything found globally. But you can't dress up the weather, and Mother Nature's contribution on Saturday leaves much to be desired.
Visibility is poor, and in the driving rain and low cloud, the time lapse to decide pole position become a bit of a lottery. Spirit of Norway go first, their time 3 minutes 31.27 seconds. Victory 77 are next on the 10-kilometre circuit, returning with 3 minutes 32.54. Italian Highlander follow with 3 minutes 42.62. But the Australians Maritimo fading slightly after a quick run out to finish on 3 minutes 44.32. Jotun, in spite of that dodgy moment, recovered to 3 minutes 57.59. Gibolato's first attempt is 4 minutes 13, with Roscioli rounding off the first of the 3 allocated runs in 4 minutes 19.71. Average speed 138.63 kilometres an hour. Quite a deficit. Spirit of Norway's speed is over 170, and they sit tight while the rest make propeller changes for the remaining 2 runs. With Spirit of Norway watching and waiting, Victory 7 are quickest on the second runs, getting mighty close on 3 minutes 31.86. Jotun better their time by almost 7 seconds. And there's a very respectable 4 minutes 11.34 from the new Qatar team at their very first attempt. But still no one so far can eclipse Spirit's 3 minutes 31.27. Although Victory 7 have got to within half a second. 1 to go then, with Victory 77 the pick of the bunch this time. Down the home straight at almost 196 kilometres an hour. Still not good enough. Spirit of Norway make it 2 pole positions in a row ahead of Victory 7, 77, Highlander Maritimo, Jotun Damas, Gibolato and Roscioli.
Steve, you got pole position for the second time in these very dismal conditions. How do you feel?
Well, ecstatically happy, but a bit wet. No, I'm obviously happy. Home Grand Prix, we know the boat's running well. We didn't get a great setup. I'm just glad that we got it on pole.
And the bonuses that go with it, making them hot favourites to lift the separate trophy the points go towards and securing pole position for the Grand Prix itself. The support act for this year's British Grand Prix is a powerboat division rapidly building a star billing all of its own. Honda arrive with 30 race boats and stacks of commitment.
We've got the 130 class, which is built up and done well, 20-odd boats in that. And now we've really increased the power by taking on the 225 class, which are V6 engines, 3.5 litre. And we're bringing it down to people who actually don't have to have huge amounts of money to race powerboats.
May this one day reach the levels of, say, Class 1?
Well, I think we always have to have a dream, we always have to have a vision. And I can see in the next 5 years us taking this abroad, taking it to World Championships sort of status.
But when you look at, you know, all of the guys, or at least 90% of the guys that race, and they've never been in a race boat before. So, you know, they're learning from putting it in the water to, you know, racing for the first time. And it's incredible for us, you know, I'm on the organising committee, etc., to see the improvement of them over a season. And for sure, in the, you know, in the Honda classes, there's people that could easily in the future be driving Class 1 boats.
There's a Plymouth debut too for the Qatar racing team. Fronted by Sheikh Hassan Al Thani, a keen powerboat fan, with a little help from Class 1 throttleman Matteo Nicolini. Their new boat arrives later in the season, so meanwhile they take over Christian Zanov's Damas.
Sheikh Hassan, but where did your interest in powerboat racing begin?
Well, powerboating has always been a fantasy for myself and even for most of the spectators in Doha and Qatar. So that's not something new for us. But after the hosting of the first round for Qatar last year, the officials in the state of Qatar looked at Class 1 very seriously and decided to go ahead with the project of the Class 1 team.
It's your first Class 1 Grand Prix coming up. Are you a little nervous?
No, not at all. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I wish that this Sunday had come in a little bit earlier than today, but definitely I'm looking forward for today.
How is the new man shaping up?
The new man is okay. The new man is, how you call it, the blood is very cold of the new man, and this is the best things.
You'll be looking forward to it then?
Yeah. we will. I think we will see what's happened. I think we will be competitive.
Just time then for a few last-minute interviews before the serious business of the mighty Grand Prix itself. Offshore powerboats assemble in anti-clockwise fashion on the world's finest stage. And of course, as unpredictable as they come, the calmer waters of the Sound itself merely tempting bait for the comparative cauldron beyond the breakwater. 9 make the starting lineup, led by Spirit of Norway, winners of both Grand Prix so far, and throttled by Britain's favourite powerboat son, Steve Curtis. A race the legendary Dubai Victory team must win to keep in touch with the high-flying Australians and Italians and the soaring Spirit. On board with the Australians. On the countdown to the green flag. Always an adrenaline-soaked moment. And there's a break there from the centre of the pack. It looks like Italian Highlander. There's the green flag. Power on. And Spirit of Norway unleashes 2,000 horsepower. But it's Highlander who have jumped the gun. A massive advantage and one for which they must surely pay. The start line rules dictate no one will have an unfair advantage. Riding with Jotun, Jan Hilstad, Norway, Bernard Bellman, Germany. Highlander away on the left, Spirit of Norway edging out, Victory 7 and 77. And goodness me, a moment of madness there for Spirit of Norway as seen from the cockpit of Victory 77. Into the bumpier waters away from the shelter of the breakwater. Highlander in front. Rough ride promised, rough ride delivered. Turn 1, Victory 7, near side, Spirit of Norway, number 10, far side. Second place, the contest, 150 kilometers an hour, the speed. Ali Akamar and Ahmed Al-Tayr inching ahead. And nothing easy about this. Spirit of Norway already the recipient of an early warning on the start straight. Flying there on the edge all the way. Gibalato astern, observed with interest I'm sure. Sheikh Hassan, Class 1 debut in a bit of a tussle here with Roskioli Hotels, number 8, for 8th place that is. Mark 2, Breakwater West, Highlander first, Victory 7 with nowhere to go, into the rooster tail, forcing Ali Akamar off the throttles. Spirit of Norway tightens it up, with Maritimo, you saw there, skipping across their wash into 4th place. The turn for home. It's 4 in a row for the sprint back to Drake's Island and the end of lap 1. Riding with victory 77. Speed just touching 200 kilometres an hour. Spirit of Norway on their right. Bjorn Yelston, Norway with the driving wheel. Steve Curtis, Great Britain, on throttles. Cutting across the chicane, Highlander blocking the direct approach by victory 7. Riding here with Peter McGrath and Bill Barry Cotter, Australia, pushing Maritimo onto the inside of victory 77 for the long raking right-hand turn at the end of lap 1. Highlander there first, but not without cost. Eduardo Poli and Lamberto Leone have been penalised 1 lap for their preposterous breakout at the start. Looking back now, though, at the other angle, when Spirit of Norway almost paid the ultimate price. As close as you'll ever want to go with a 5-ton racing machine at 180 kilometres an hour. Memories of Germany 2 years ago flooding back in that cockpit, I'm sure. They survived, though, and technically in 2nd place. On board, victory 77. Maritimo moving through on their right, into the wash and across the drenching rooster tail of the Norwegians to take up 4th place. No shrinking violets, these Aussies. Not the best of starts for them on this occasion, but making up for it now on the drag race to Breakwater West for the 2nd time. Straightforward enough when looking down from the comfort of our helicopter. Far different from the confines of the tiny cockpit. 20 of the scheduled 190 kilometres completed already, and that in spite of speeds some 80 kilometres an hour below maximum. Significant maybe, the 2 heaviest and longest boats lead the way on this course of diversifying surface, albeit one with a lap penalty. The lighter and livelier Spirit of Norway, Maritimo and Jotun with vastly greater work rates. Still though, very much in touch. Less than 9 seconds separating 5th place from Highlander at the front. Fastest section once more, the run back to Drake's Island at almost 205 kilometres an hour this time. And a good deal more interesting. Aliar Kamar picking up the pace here with Highlander running a little tight on his racing line. Past the yellow chicane marker at Drake's. The Dubai team are outmanoeuvring the Italians comprehensively. Long right-hander coming up. And Highlander on the inside have missed the mark completely. A remarkable error. And again, costly. They will claim, I'm sure, the originally laid mark was not in place. Even so, the race commissioners look harshly at such occurrences, and the Italians may well pay another penalty. And here goes Spirit of Norway. Yelchin and Curtis needing to get quickly past the erratic Italians to stay on the trail of victory 7, throwing everything at this. Just under 200 kilometres an hour again, on the same part of the course where they could have disintegrated 10 minutes ago. It's close on, outrageous, but the goal achieved, and their intention to still try and win this race is clearly stated. Fastest boat on lap 2, incidentally, was Jotun, averaging 160.73 kilometres an hour. This is lap 3. The smooth riding victory 7 that won the championship, I think, in the year 2000 when piloted by Halfdan Hureb, leads the newer, faster, lightweight hybrid of Norway by almost 7 seconds. The sea can be a wonderful leveller. On board, Maritimo, another lightweight. Peter McGrath at full stretch on the steering wheel, reeling in the Italian Highlander. And Polly, who might have hoped for glory in these conditions, could soon find things going from bad to worse, and Gibolato limps off the track. Montevocchi and Esperto, the first casualties, heading back to the pits. Returning to Maritimo, the Australians here battling into position on the outside of Highlander. Breakwater west, the 90-degree turn to the north, coming up, and yes indeed. No, they had to work hard for that one, but that is magnificently done. And now into third place. Victory 77 also lining up to follow through. And Highlander will find themselves in 5th place when this lap is completed. Average speed, incidentally, for Highlander last lap, 153.86 kilometres an hour. Victory 77, 164.40. Maritimo 165.15. Same as Spirit of Norway, with Victory 7 well clear on 169.82. Riding with Jotun, 6th place for them, and 6.15 kilometres an hour, now quicker than Highlander. So expect fireworks there soon as well. Damas 96, Sheikh Hassan and Matteo Nicolini, 141.19 kilometres an hour, their best effort so far. First Grand Prix, remember, just keeping it tidy in 7th. Ahead of Nicolo Giorgi and Aurelio Borghi. Best lap for them, 129.51. Into the final period of the race then, scheduled for 190 kilometres or 1 hour, and clearly it will be the latter. 170 currently touted as the likely distance to be achieved in the allocated time, in which case another 40 kilometres to go. Jan Hilstad and Bernard Bellman still closing on Highlander. And they're piling on the agony for Poli and Leone. Another place surrendered without a fight. Maybe the Italian pairing are resigned to losing the lot anyway. It's beginning to look that way. And there's yet to be a decision made on the matter of the missed turn mark. But in any case, it had all gone horribly wrong well before that. We're actually looking at the second incident here again, and I'm sure Polly will claim he was confused by the missing mark and was then forced into playing safe with Spirit of Norway so close behind. Well, you decide for yourselves. This is Victory 7, heading for a first win of the season. Yelsten and Curtis, it would seem, happy to settle for second place with Spirit of Norway, dropping back to 153 kilometres an hour on the last lap. And look at this, no such respite for the Australians. Altair and Al-Marie, Victory 77, still peppering their transom. And with the last lap at 160.73 kilometres an hour, are currently almost a kilometre an hour quicker. Third place, the coveted reward for the winner of the duel, with both teams in desperate need of the points. 3 being the difference between third and fourth, and the Australians in particular, having fought to correct the injustice of Lisbon where they were robbed of victory, won't be rushing to give any of the precious commodity away. Oh, and a little moment there that will have drawn a deep breath from the Jotun cockpit as they chase their first points. Not an easy day for anyone. The stiff southwesterly breeze continually feeding the residual swells. The body and the brain exhausted from the continual pounding. Damas 96 holding 6th place, ahead still of Roscioli Hotels. While the real joy is beginning to build at the sharp end. Ali Al-Kamar said before this race, it's a day when Victory Team must win. And while the rest have huffed and puffed with their fast, lightweight technology, sometimes there's nothing better than a good old one. Heavier, longer and smoother. Victory 7 providing the tonic the Dubai team so desperately seek. But no joy again for Jotun. Luck deserts them once more. It's 3 in a row and a season in tatters. Back to the battle for third and down the straight to Drake's Island for the penultimate time. Saeed Altair and Mohammed Al-Marie, Victory 77. Hopes of a first podium finish of the season still the forefront of their minds. refusing to concede third place as the lost cause. Cutting the corners as tight as they dare and piling up the pressure on the Australians in an attempt to force the error. Mind you, it's difficult to find a harder nut to crack than the Australians. Peter McGrath and Bill Barry-Cotter thrive on fodder such as this. Catching them will be one thing, getting past something completely different. Last lap average speeds, by the way, Victory 77, 156.56 kilometres an hour. Maritimo 160.78, nothing in it. And top speed, by the way, still nearer 200 kilometres an hour, with time beginning to run out for the Dubai 77 team. And evaporated completely, it seems, for Roscioli. That's a pity after coming this far. Long way too, of course, for Victory 7, but a return journey about to be made, much the sweeter by an emphatic result. Victory 7 apply the finishing touches, winning the Jervis Property British Grand Prix to keep alive their dream of winning the title for the first time. Spirit of Norway coming in at a counter for second. There they are, after a full-blooded contest for the most part, until eventually accepting there is no way on this particular day would Ali Alkmaar and Ahmed Altayr step back from their commitment. And in the thick of it, Maritimo, withstanding the late assault from Saeed Altayr, almost back to his very best and looking in much better shape for round 4.
It's rough there. You don't see it from down here because it's in the horizon, and I think it must be something like 5 to 6 feet wave, you know. I mean, we are glad to be in the first position.
Crucial win then for the Dubai team, re-railing their championship bandwagon in the nick of time. Good day too for Norway and Australia, but almost a write-off for Italy. And always a good sign, most of the crowd staying behind to celebrate one of the best Class 1 events for years. Three rounds completed then, 5 to go, with Spirit of Norway basking in the sunshine of a 16-point lead. But how different it might have been had they not escaped that major scare on the start straight.
Oslo next. Yeltsin on home soil. Always difficult to beat, but never more so than here. The rest had better watch out.